So you're doing everything right. You're killing it in the gym. You're tracking your meals, hitting your protein goals, and saying no to office donuts like a champ. You're putting in the work. You're consistent. You're dedicated. But for some reason, the number on the scale just won't budge. You feel like you haven't gained a single ounce of muscle in months. The person staring back at you in the mirror looks stubbornly the same, day after day, week after week. It's beyond frustrating, and it's enough to make you feel like all your hard work is for nothing. It's a silent battle that can make you question your entire plan, your discipline, and even your own body. You start thinking, maybe I'm just not built for this. Maybe it's my genetics. Maybe I need to train even harder, eat even less, and just push myself into the ground. But what if I told you the problem isn't what you're doing when you're awake, but what you're not doing when you're asleep? What if the real culprit behind your stalled progress is an invisible metabolic storm that's quietly wrecking your results while you're completely unconscious? We're not talking about a tiny marginal difference here. We're talking about the one fundamental pillar that can make or break your entire fitness journey. It's the variable we so often dismiss as a luxury, but in reality, it's the most powerful, muscle-building, fat-burning tool you have. We're talking about sleep. Section 1. The invisible saboteur. Why sleep is your unseen foundation. Most of us think of fitness as a simple two-part equation: train hard and eat right. We picture our progress being forged in the gym under a heavy barbell and built in the kitchen with chicken and broccoli. We see sleep as just rest, a passive timeout where our bodies just power down for the next day. But that view is dangerously flat out wrong. Sleep isn't passive. It's an active, powerful, and absolutely essential biological process that dictates the success of everything you do when you're awake. Think of your body like a high-performance race car. Your training? That's the engine, powerful and ready to go. Your nutrition? That's the high-octane fuel that makes it run. But your sleep? Sleep is the pit crew. It's the team of expert mechanics who work tirelessly overnight. They repair the engine after a brutal race, fine-tune all the systems, replace worn-out parts, and top off the fuel tank. Without that pit crew, that powerful engine will break down fast. The fuel won't get used right. The car will sputter, stall, and eventually fail completely, no matter how powerful the engine or how premium the fuel. That is exactly what happens to your body when you neglect sleep. You can have the most dialed-in diet and the most savage workout plan on the planet, but without enough quality sleep, you are operating with a skeleton crew. Your efforts aren't just being wasted, they're being actively sabotaged from the inside. That invisible metabolic storm isn't just a dramatic phrase, it's a physiological reality. It's a cascade of hormonal failures and metabolic dysfunctions that directly fight against your goals. You're trying to speed towards your fitness destination, but with every night of poor sleep, you are unknowingly slamming on the brakes, hard. The science on this is crystal clear. Sleep isn't the third wheel in the fitness trinity. It's the foundation that training and nutrition are built on. It's during these quiet, unconscious hours that your body does its most important work of repair, regulation, and growth. While you're dreaming, your body is in its most potent muscle-building state, releasing a symphony of hormones designed to rebuild torn muscle fibers and burn stored body fat. It's also when your brain sorts through the day's information, locks in memories, and, crucially, resets the complex hormonal circuits that control your appetite and stress levels for the next day. When you consistently shortchange this process, you create a state of internal crisis. You're not just tired, you are putting your body into a physiological state of emergency. This state is marked by hormonal imbalances that make you hungrier, store fat more easily, and break down the very muscle tissue you're working so hard to build. It's a frustrating loop. You feel too tired to train hard. Your cravings for high-calorie junk food become overwhelming, and the stress from your lack of progress only makes it harder to sleep. It's a vicious cycle that can derail even the most motivated person. So before we even get into the how-to, you have to fundamentally shift your mindset. Stop seeing sleep as a luxury or a sign of weakness. Stop thinking of it as lost time that could be better spent working or binging another episode. Start seeing sleep for what it truly is, the most critical and productive part of your recovery. It is the non-negotiable secret weapon that unlocks the full potential of your diet and training. In the next sections, we're going to pull back the curtain and dissect exactly how a lack of sleep wages war on your body, starting with the hormones that control your hunger. Section 2. The Hormonal Havoc. Part 1. The Unwinnable Hunger Games. If you've ever had a night of tossing and turning, then woken up craving a greasy pizza with an intensity that feels almost primal, you're not weak. You are experiencing a hormonal hijacking of your appetite, all orchestrated by a lack of sleep. This isn't just a feeling, it's a measurable, physiological response. To get it, we need to meet the two puppet masters of your hunger, ghrelin and leptin. Think of ghrelin as the go hormone, or the hunger monster that lives in your stomach. Its job is to growl and scream, sending signals to your brain that it's time to eat. When your stomach is empty, ghrelin levels shoot up and you feel those hunger pangs. Now, think of leptin as the stop hormone, the satiety signalman that lives in your fat cells. After you've eaten a meal and your energy stores are full, leptin travels to your brain and says, "All right, we're good. You can stop eating now." In a well-rested body, these two work in perfect harmony. Ghrelin rises, you eat, then it falls. As you eat, leptin rises, telling you when you've had enough. This elegant system ensures you get the energy you need without going overboard. But when you throw sleep deprivation into the mix, that harmony shatters. It's like the hunger monster gets a megaphone, and the satiety signalman gets gagged and tied up. And science backs this up big time. Research has consistently shown that even a single night of poor sleep can dramatically screw up your levels of these two hormones. When you're sleep deprived, your body produces more ghrelin and less leptin. So what does this disastrous combo actually do to you? First, the surge in ghrelin means you feel hungrier more often. It's not in your head. That constant nagging hunger, even right after a meal, is your body screaming for calories because your hormonal green light is stuck on. One study found that sleep restriction led to a significant increase in hunger and appetite. This makes sticking to a diet feel less like a disciplined choice and more like a battle against your own biology. Second, the drop in leptin means the "I'm full" signal is weak or missing entirely. You eat a meal that should be satisfying, but the message that you've had enough never quite makes it to your brain. This leads to bigger portions, going back for seconds, and still feeling unsatisfied. It's a perfect recipe for accidentally overeating and completely derailing your fat loss goals. One study found that even short-term sleep deprivation significantly reduced levels of the satiety hormone leptin, creating a hormonal profile that literally makes it easier to gain weight. But wait, it gets worse. Sleep deprivation doesn't just make you want more food, it makes you want the wrong kind of food. The hormonal shift creates intense, specific cravings for high-calorie, high-carb junk. Your sleep-deprived brain isn't asking for chicken and broccoli. It's screaming for chips, cookies, and fast food. This happens because your prefrontal cortex, the rational, decision-making part of your brain, is basically offline. At the same time, the more primal, reward-seeking centers of your brain are firing on all cylinders. The combination is lethal for any diet. Your willpower is at an all-time low, while your desire for junk is at an all-time high. You're biologically programmed to seek out the most energy-dense foods you can find to deal with the energy crisis your lack of sleep created. Now check out this wild study from the University of Chicago that shows what this looks like in the real world. They put a group of people on the exact same calorie-restricted diet, but split them into two groups. One group got to sleep a full 8.5 hours a night. The other was restricted to just 5.5 hours. Now, the total weight they lost was about the same. But here's the crazy part. When they got enough sleep, more than half of the weight they lost was pure fat. When they were sleep deprived, only a quarter of the weight they lost was fat. The rest? It came from their hard-earned metabolism-boosting muscle. They were losing the wrong kind of weight. To make things even worse, the sleep-deprived group felt way hungrier and had higher levels of ghrelin, the very hormone that drives hunger. Think about that for a second. Same diet, same deficit. The only thing that changed was sleep. Cutting back on sleep literally told their bodies to burn muscle for fuel and hold on to fat for dear life. If your goal is to lose fat, as the study director said, skipping sleep is like poking sticks in your bicycle wheels. It actively works against everything you're trying to do. This is the first layer of the invisible metabolic storm. It turns your own body against you, making fat loss a nearly impossible task. But that's only half the story. While your appetite hormones are running wild, another even more sinister process is targeting the very muscle you're trying to build. Section 3, the hormonal havoc, Part 2, the anabolic shutdown. You go to the gym to tear your muscles down. You lift heavy, you push to failure, and you create tiny microscopic tears in the muscle fibers. That's the stimulus. But the growth, the actual process of building bigger, stronger muscles, doesn't happen in the gym. It happens when you rest. More specifically, it happens during your deepest stages of sleep. This is when your body's internal pharmacy opens up and releases its most powerful muscle-building compounds. The undisputed king of this process is human growth hormone, or GH. Anyone serious about fitness knows that GH is the gold standard for repair and growth. It's a powerful hormone that helps build muscle, burn fat, and regulate metabolism. During the day, GH levels are pretty low, but shortly after you fall asleep and enter deep slow-wave sleep, your pituitary gland gets the signal to open the floodgates. This is prime time for muscle repair. The surge of GH kickstarts protein synthesis and recovery, turning the damage you did in the gym into real growth. But this whole process depends on you actually getting to those deep stages of sleep. When you cut your sleep short, or your sleep quality is poor, you rob your body of this crucial muscle-building window. You might be in bed for 7 hours, but if you're tossing and turning, you're missing the magic. Your GH secretion gets blunted, sometimes dramatically. In fact, researchers are now mapping the exact brain circuits that control this, finding that your sleep stages act like a finely tuned switchboard, telling your brain precisely when to release GH mess with that switchboard, and GH release plummets. But GH isn't the only muscle builder being taken off the field. Sleep deprivation also delivers a devastating blow to testosterone. Testosterone is a primary driver of muscle mass in both men and women. It's what promotes protein synthesis and gives you the drive to train hard. Just like growth hormone, testosterone levels peak in the early morning after a full night of restorative sleep. Studies have shown that restricting sleep can slash your testosterone. One study found that after just 1 week of sleeping only 5 hours a night, healthy young men saw their daytime testosterone levels drop by 10 to 15%. To put that in perspective, you're basically aging yourself 10 to 15 years in just 1 week. This drop doesn't just make it harder to build new muscle. It can lead to less strength, lower energy, and a weaker desire to even go to the gym. So, we have less growth hormone and tanked testosterone. The two most important muscle-building hormones are offline, but your body isn't done sabotaging you. While it's suppressing the good stuff, it's ramping up the bad stuff, namely cortisol, the stress hormone. This brings us to the next, and maybe most destructive part of this mess. While your muscle-building signals are being silenced, a powerful muscle-destroying signal is being amplified. This leads us to a truly terrifying statistic from one study. When subjects went through just a single night of total sleep deprivation, their muscle protein synthesis, the actual process of building muscle, was reduced. At the same time, their testosterone dropped, while their cortisol shot up. Let me say that again, because it's insane. One single night of bad sleep was enough to seriously cripple your body's ability to build muscle and create a hormonal environment that favors muscle breakdown. Now imagine the effect of weeks, months, or years of bad sleep. No wonder your gains have stalled. You're not just failing to move forward, you are actively going backward. Every night you don't get enough quality sleep, you're essentially telling your body to stop building muscle. It doesn't matter how much protein you eat or how heavy you lift. Your body is in a state of anabolic resistance. It's like flooring the accelerator in your car while the parking brake is on. You're burning fuel and making a lot of noise, but you're not going anywhere. This is the anabolic shutdown. It's the reason your workouts feel flat and your strength numbers aren't moving. You're putting in the work, but your body is in a state of self-sabotage, breaking down muscle and refusing to build it back stronger. Section 4, the stress spiral and metabolic meltdown. We've talked about the anabolic shutdown, where your body stops building muscle. But poor sleep does more than just halt construction. It actively starts demolition. And the primary wrecking ball it uses is a hormone you've probably heard of, cortisol. Cortisol is the famous stress hormone. In a healthy system, it's vital. It's part of your fight-or-flight response, giving you a jolt of energy in an emergency. Your cortisol naturally peaks in the morning to help you wake up and then gradually falls throughout the day, hitting its lowest point around midnight so you can sleep. But chronic sleep deprivation completely destroys this rhythm. When you don't sleep, your body thinks you're under constant threat. It doesn't know you were up late watching Netflix. It just knows it's an emergency. As a result, it keeps pumping out cortisol. Instead of dropping at night, your cortisol levels stay high, creating a perpetual state of stress. One study showed that after a single night of sleep deprivation, cortisol levels could be significantly higher the next day. This is devastating for your body for two reasons. First, cortisol is catabolic, meaning it breaks things down. Its main job during stress is to find energy, fast. And where does it get it? By breaking down your precious muscle tissue and converting it into sugar for fuel. So while you're fighting in the gym to build muscle, high cortisol from bad sleep is working 24/7 to break it down. Second, high cortisol loves to promote fat storage, especially around your stomach. That stubborn belly fat that just won't go away? Chronically high cortisol is a major culprit. It creates a hormonal environment that tells your body to store visceral fat, the dangerous kind of fat that wraps around your internal organs. But the metabolic meltdown doesn't stop there. Poor sleep also cripples your body's ability to handle sugar. This revolves around insulin, the hormone that moves sugar from your bloodstream into your cells for energy. When you eat carbs, your blood sugar rises and your pancreas releases insulin to manage it. Normally, your cells are very sensitive to insulin's signal. They hear the knock, open the door, and let the sugar in. Sleep deprivation makes your cells insulin resistant. It's like they become deaf to insulin's knock. They don't respond properly, leaving sugar stuck in your bloodstream. Your pancreas panics and pumps out even more insulin to try and get the job done. This leads to chronically high levels of both sugar and insulin in your blood. This is a metabolic disaster. High insulin levels are a powerful signal for your body to store fat. When your cells aren't taking up sugar for energy, your body converts it into body fat instead. This means that even if you're eating the same amount of food, a sleep-deprived body is far more likely to store those calories as fat than a well-rested one. Your energy levels also tank because sugar isn't getting into your cells, leaving you tired and sluggish, which kills your motivation to exercise. So let's paint the full horrifying picture. A lack of sleep jacks up your hunger, crushes your fullness signals, and makes you crave junk food. It tanks your muscle-building hormones, shutting down your gains. It then floods your system with a muscle-destroying hormone that tells your body to store belly fat. And finally, it wrecks your ability to handle carbs, turning you into a fat storage machine. This is the invisible metabolic chaos. It's a multi-front war being waged on your body every time you skimp on sleep. It is the hidden culprit that has been destroying your progress. Now that we understand the problem, let's talk about the solution. Section 5, the solution, your 4-step sleep blueprint. Okay, so I've just spent a few minutes laying out the bad news. The good news is, fixing this doesn't require expensive supplements or complicated gadgets. The market for sleep aids is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but the most powerful solutions are free. It all comes down to building a foundation of consistent, powerful habits. This isn't about one perfect night of sleep. It's about creating a solid sleep blueprint you can follow consistently. We're going to build it with 4 non-negotiable pillars. Pillar 1, master consistency and light. First up, and this is the big one, a consistent schedule. Your body runs on a 24-hour internal clock called the circadian rhythm, and this clock thrives on routine. By going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, you anchor this rhythm. When your schedule is all over the place, you're basically giving yourself jet lag without ever leaving home. Your internal clock gets confused and doesn't know when to release the right hormones. Aim to set a bedtime and wake up time that you can stick to within a 30-minute window, 7 days a week. This single habit will do more for your sleep than almost anything else. The second half of this pillar is light. Your internal clock is mainly set by light. As soon as you wake up, get some bright, natural sunlight. Go for a short walk, have your coffee outside, or just open the blinds and stand by a window for 10 to 15 minutes. This morning light sends a powerful signal to your brain that the day has started, which helps set your clock for the day. Conversely, you have to be ruthless about avoiding bright light, especially blue light from screens. In the 1 to 2 hours before bed, the blue light from your phone, tablet, and TV tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, which shuts down the production of melatonin, your sleep hormone. Make your bedroom a no-screen zone. If you have to use a device, use a blue light filter or wear blue light blocking glasses. But honestly, the best solution is to just put the electronics away and read a real book, do some light stretching, or listen to calm music. Pillar 2. Build your sleep cave. Your bedroom environment plays a huge role in your sleep quality. It should be a sanctuary for rest, not a multi-purpose room for work and entertainment. Your brain is an association machine. You want it to associate your bed with sleep and only sleep. To do this, focus on 3 things: cool, dark, and quiet. First, keep it cool. Your body's core temperature needs to drop to get into deep sleep. The ideal temperature for most people is between 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, or 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. A room that's too hot is a common sleep disruptor. Second, make it pitch black. Any light, even from a tiny charging indicator, can mess with your sleep. Get some blackout curtains or a good sleep mask. Your goal is a room so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. This sends the strongest possible signal to your brain that it's time for deep rest. Third, keep it quiet. Sudden noises can pull you out of deep sleep. If you live in a noisy area, try a white noise machine, a fan, or earplugs to drown out disruptive sounds. Pillar 3. Create a wind-down ritual. You can't go from 100 miles per hour to 0 in an instant. Rushing from a stressful day straight into bed is a recipe for a restless night. You need to create a buffer zone between your day and your sleep. This is your wind-down ritual. This should be a 30 to 60-minute routine of calm, relaxing activities that signal to your body and mind that it's time to chill out. Some great options are reading a physical book, nothing too exciting, light stretching or foam rolling, meditation or deep breathing exercises, journaling to get any racing thoughts or worries out of your head, taking a warm bath or shower. The drop in body temperature after you get out can help make you sleepy. During this time, it's also critical to avoid stimulants. Obviously, no caffeine after 2 p.m. It has a long half-life and can mess up your deep sleep even if you don't feel wired. Alcohol is another trap. It might make you drowsy, but it wrecks your sleep quality later in the night. Finally, avoid intense exercise too close to bed, as it can raise your core body temperature and cortisol. Pillar 4. Eat for better sleep. What and when you eat can also affect your sleep. Going to bed super stuffed or starving can both cause problems. Try to finish your last big meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed to give your body time to digest. If you need a small snack, something with complex carbs and protein is a good choice. A pre-sleep protein shake with slow-digesting casein has actually been shown to boost muscle protein synthesis overnight, helping you recover while you sleep. Some studies have found that having 20 to 40 grams of casein protein about 30 minutes before bed can improve muscle growth and strength over time. Micronutrients like magnesium can also help, but remember, you can't supplement your way out of a bad sleep schedule or a poor environment. By putting these 4 pillars into practice, you'll build a sleep blueprint that turns sleep from a problem into your greatest advantage, creating the perfect internal environment for fat loss and muscle gain. So there you have it. The verdict is in. Sleep is not a passive luxury. It is an active, non-negotiable, and incredibly powerful process that governs your body composition. For too long, we've been told that fitness success is all about sweat and sacrifice during our waking hours. But the truth is, the battle for a leaner, stronger body is often won or lost in the quiet hours of the night. We've seen how a lack of sleep unleashes a hormonal storm, hijacking your appetite, turning you into a fat-storing machine, and completely shutting down your body's ability to build muscle. This isn't just talk, it's a physiological fact. But you now have the blueprint to stop the chaos. By prioritizing a consistent schedule, mastering your environment, and building a solid wind-down ritual, you can flip those hormonal switches back in your favor. You can create an internal environment that burns fat, builds muscle, and makes every bit of your hard work count. Stop treating sleep as the first thing you sacrifice when life gets busy. Start treating it with the same discipline you give your training and nutrition. It's the missing piece of the puzzle that will finally help you break through your plateaus and see the results you've been working so hard for. Treat your sleep like it's part of your training program, because it is. If this deep dive was helpful and you want to learn more about how to optimize your fitness journey, make sure you subscribe to How to Be Fit. And for your next step, check out this video right here on how to burn more calories without hitting the gym. It's the perfect follow-up to what you've learned today. Thanks for watching. Now go get some sleep.